very passionate. She's an advocate for accountability, diversity, equity, and inclusion, a seasoned leader with proven track record of driving change, and she's made a lasting impact in her profession and community. And through her career in the UK, Vivian has demonstrated exceptional leadership skill, spearheading initiatives that promote gender equality, challenge systemic barriers.
Honored to speak with you today at this important gathering where we celebrate the strength of integrity in the face of corruption. In a country where corruption is often seen as normal, we're here to share a different story, a story of hope, accountability, and leadership that brings change. The Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Foundation's anti-corruption campaign uses a unique people-focused approach. By showing real-life examples of corruption, we make complex ideas easy to understand. And this helps people clearly to see the difference between right and wrong, while providing a safe space to reflect on the harm caused by corruption and the benefits of honesty and accountability. A key part of the work is identifying and celebrating role models, individuals who challenge corruption and set a positive example for others. These integrity icons who we celebrate today show us that integrity is in fact possible, even in tough circumstances. They lead the way in rejecting corruption and proving that honesty can bring lasting change. We are proud to work with Accountability Lab to honor these outstanding individuals. These icons are examples of the best in public service. They show that integrity is not just an idea, it can transform lives and systems. Their commitment to doing the right thing gives us hope and encourages us all to take action for a better society. Our campaign is guided by research showing that fighting corruption starts with individuals who are brave enough to act differently. True change also requires systems to improve, but it actually begins with people like you and people like me. Those who are willing to step up, break old habits, and inspire others to do the same. People who dare to reject prevailing norms and model new behaviors. These individuals bear the cost of norm abandonment to pave the way for a society rooted in trust, collective action, and accountability. We are grateful to our partners who make this work possible. Accountability Lab, your 8 years of dedication has been amazing. To the MacArthur Foundation and Illuminate, your support for this driven mission, or for driving this mission forward, is very, very, very important, and we thank you. Because together we are reshaping our future by making integrity a priority. And today, as we honor, celebrate these incredible individuals, let us remember that fighting corruption is a responsibility that we all share. By living out the values of honesty and accountability in our own lives, we help create institutions and communities we can trust. And we really mean that. It's not just a speech that we're reading. If you get stopped on the street or on the road when you're driving to work, for example, by VIO, for example, or road safety, and you know that you don't have the mental capacity to exchange dialogue with these people, so you're tempted to just give them something from your pocket so that you can get going. Ask yourself, are you doing the right thing to enable change to truly happen? Because knowing that change starts with us. If you just put your foot down and just spare another 5 minutes, give them all your papers, and show that you have everything that you need to show, it really makes all the difference. We can break down these barriers, these expectations that have become societal norms, and truly get our society to function properly. So I want to thank you for joining us in this important journey. Let us continue to name, to fame, and to inspire. Thank you very much.
On building trust in governance processes, the power of ethical behavior and positive norms.
And declining confidence in political leaders and institutions, necessitating the need for democratic renewal through increasing citizen participation. in spite of the recognition that democracy is the best form of government, there is declining democratic ethos across the world. The Freedom in the World 2024 report showed that global freedom declined for the 18th consecutive year in 2023. Political rights and civil liberties were diminished in 52 countries, while only 21 countries made improvements. There were widespread problems with elections, including violence and manipulation, which drove deterioration in rights and freedoms. In Cambodia, Guatemala, Poland, Turkey, and Zimbabwe, incumbents tried to control electoral competition, hinder political opponents, or prevent them from taking power after election day. Armed conflicts have made the world less safe, with wars in Ukraine and Israel/Palestine. There is denial of political rights and civil liberties, with examples in Hong Kong, Tibet, West Bank, and Gaza. Only 2 days ago, on 3rd December 2024, Musa Changari was arrested in Niger on return from Abuja, where he attended the meeting of the International Governing Council of Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, and a symposium celebrating the 70th birthday anniversary of Jibril Ibrahim at this very venue. Trust is the foundation of governance. The idea of the social contract is that citizens trust government to provide for their security and welfare, and then they explicitly or implicitly surrender some of their freedoms and allow the state to bear arms to protect them. Trust enables citizens to believe in the legitimacy of government actions, fosters collaboration, and ensures the stability of institutions. However, trust is fragile and easily eroded when governance processes are characterized by unethical practices and weak norms. Thus, rebuilding trust requires conscious focus on cultivating ethical behaviors and embedding positive norms into governance structures. In this keynote address, we look at how to build trust in governance, utilizing the power of ethical behavior and positive norms. But first, we explore the concept of trust in governance and the role of ethical behaviors in governance. The concept of trust in governance. Trust is a reciprocal relationship between citizens and their leaders, grounded in the belief that public officials will act in the best interest of society in line with social contract. According to Fukuyama, trust is an essential social capital that underpins effective governance. In the absence of trust, government policies, no matter how well-intentioned, are likely to be met with resistance and apathy. Trust is a vital element for stable societies and thriving economies. It fosters cooperation, ensures compliance with laws, and builds sustainable relationships. However, the world is currently grappling with increasing trust deficits across various sectors, including governance, businesses, media, and international relations. The Edmund Trust Barometer Report 2023 highlights a significant global trend of declining trust in institutions, with governments and media being the least trusted in many regions. For instance, in the United States, only 20% of Americans express trust in Congress, according to the survey in 2022. The Brexit referendum in the United Kingdom reveals significant trust deficits within the European Union. Many British citizens voted to leave the Union, citing mistrust of EU's governance structures and perceived lack of accountability. In India, the 2016 demonetization policy led to widespread distrust in government, which worsened with its chaotic implementation. In Nigeria, trust deficits have become a pervasive issue, fueled by corruption, lack of transparency, poor service delivery, and a history of unfulfilled promises. According to the Edmund Trust Barometer 2023, only 43% of Nigerians express trust in their government, highlighting a significant gap in public confidence in governance processes. The removal of petroleum subsidies in 2023 without adequate preparation, communication, and cushioning measures, and the absence of social protection programs has further alienated citizens from government. Frequent corruption scandals and half-hearted efforts to bring alleged corrupt persons to book has further led to low trust in government. Only a few days ago, on 2nd December 2024, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission announced its largest asset recovery since establishment of an estate spanning 150,500 square meters and comprising of 753 units of duplexes and other apartments in Lokogoma district of Abuja. They could not even name and shame the owner. As we name and fame our icons, those who engage in corrupt practices should be named and shamed. They could not even name and shame the owner, but stated that the property was owned by a former top brass of the government. Indeed, the newspaper headline stated, EFCC seizes 753 duplex estate, hides ex-government top show's identity. All of this further alienates citizens from government and make citizens not to trust government. This also reinforces the class character of law enforcement in Nigeria. If it were to be pickpockets and petty thieves, they would be paraded before the cameras. The low trust in governance has led to voter apathy, such that voter turnout in the 2023 elections was only 27%, and only 8,794,726 votes produce a president in a country of over 200 million people. The trust deficit has profound implications, from political instability and economic downturns to weakened social cohesion. For instance, trust deficit can lead to protests and uprising, as seen in Sudan in 2019, Sri Lanka in 2022, and NSAS protests in Nigeria in 2020. The role of ethical behaviors in governance. Ethical behaviors in governance refers to the principles, values, and practices that guide public officials and institutions to act in the best interest of society. Leaders who demonstrate ethical behavior inspire trust and set the tone for ethical governance. Governance that lacks ethical foundation often leads to corruption, inefficiency, and erosion of democratic institutions. Ethical behaviors in governance are guided by the principles of integrity, transparency, accountability, and fairness. Integrity involves acting honestly and upholding moral standards. Transparency involves making government processes open and acceptable to the public. When leaders disclose information proactively, it reduces suspicions of corruption and fosters trust. Digital tools such as open budgeting platforms and e-governance systems have been instrumental in promoting transparency. For example, Nigerian citizens' budget, the procurement portal, NOCOPO, and open treasury portal have potential to promote transparency if well implemented. Accountability involves taking responsibility for decisions and actions. Accountability ensures that leaders are answerable for their actions. This requires strong anti-corruption agencies, independent oversight bodies, active citizens, vibrant media, and an empowered judiciary. Ethical leaders practice self-accountability by adhering to principles of fairness, equity, and justice. Leaders must model ethical behaviors for others to emulate. John Maxwell famously stated, and I quote, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." End of quote. Leaders who act ethically not only gain public trust, but also establish norms that discourage unethical practices within institutions. The influence of positive norms in governance. Norms are unwritten rules that govern behavior within societies and institutions. Positive norms in governance play a crucial role in shaping behavior and decisions of public officials and institutions to ensure transparency, accountability, integrity, and fairness. Governance involves the processes and structures through which public affairs are managed, resources are allocated, and collective goals are achieved. Positive norms influence governance by guiding leaders' actions and shaping institutional culture. Positive norms encourage cooperation, fairness, and accountability, enhancing trust and efficiency in governance systems. In other words, positive norms reinforce ethical behaviors and shape the culture of governance. Positive norms contribute to effective governance by strengthening accountability, enhancing trust, promoting inclusivity, and improving efficiency. Positive norms can be institutionalized through education and awareness, role modeling, regulatory frameworks, and civic engagement. Now to the main focus, building trust through ethics and norms. Building trust in governance requires embedding ethics into institutional frameworks, civic engagement, and reorientation. First and foremost is to ensure that there are ethics and code of conduct which are vigorously implemented. The 1999 Nigerian Constitution, as amended, provides for a national ethics. In our country, the Constitution provides for a national ethics which shall be discipline, integrity, dignity of labor, social justice, religious tolerance, and patriotism. There is a code of conduct for public officers in Nigeria. But the challenge is that they are observed in breach. Secondly, there is the need for citizens' engagement to shape the governance process. When citizens demand accountability and participate actively in decision-making, they contribute to the establishment of positive norms. Thirdly, there is the need in every society to implement a program of reorientation and actively promote values of honesty, hard work, and selflessness. In recognition of this, the federal government of Nigeria in December 2023 empaneled a committee to produce a national values charter for Nigeria. I was privileged to serve in that committee, and that committee proposed 7 core promises by government and 7 commitments by citizens. I'm happy to see the copy of that national charter being distributed at this conference. So what are some of the practical steps to build trust in Nigeria through ethics and norms? Number 1, strengthening institutions. Governance institutions must be strengthened to resist undue influence and enforce ethical standards. Independent anti-corruption agencies such as EFCC and ICPC should be empowered to act without political interference. The establishment of effective laws and institutions is indispensable for ethical governance. A functioning legal system and strong institutions are indispensable for fostering ethical governance. Nigerians' legal and institutional frameworks have historically struggled with issues such as corruption, inefficiency, and limited enforcement capacity. These weaknesses undermine citizens' trust in government and create obstacles to justice and development. Number 2, promoting inclusive governance. Inclusivity fosters trust by ensuring that governance processes reflect the diverse needs of society. This involves creating platforms for marginalized groups to participate in decision-making processes. Inclusive governance is vital for nation building, promoting policies that ensure marginalized communities, including women, youth, persons with disability, and the economically disadvantaged are represented in decision-making processes. Inclusive governance seeks to empower individuals in communities by incorporating diverse voices into the decision-making process. As I argued in my forthcoming book, titled Inclusive Governance and Development in Nigeria, inclusive governance is more than a political ideal. It is a necessity for ensuring stability, economic growth, and equitable development. 3, capacity building for ethical leadership. Training programs on ethical leadership and governance should be institutionalized for public officials. Leadership has been recognized as one of the most important variables that affect the performance of any organization, institution, or nation. Study after study, superior financial and organizational performance, as well as other forms of success, have been linked to leadership. Scholars have opined that the success or failure of organizations and nations depends on leadership excellence and not managerial acumen. It has been documented that the progress, development, and fortunes of many nations are tied to the type and quality of political leadership that they have had and continue to have. Despite the recognition that leadership is crucial for the development of organizations and nations, and that leaders can be trained, there are very few organizations, especially in Africa, dedicated to building transformative leadership. Ms. Moreau put it aptly when he said, and I quote, "There is leadership potential in every person. Despite this universal latent ability, very few individuals realize this power, and fewer still have responded effectively to the call. As a result, our nations, societies, and communities are suffering from an outstanding leadership void." End of quote. Therefore, one big idea that can push Nigeria and indeed Africa forward is to build transformative leadership. Ethical leadership training and integrity awards, such as today's event, can play a vital role in incentivizing ethical behavior. Number 4, leveraging technology for accountability. Digital tools such as blockchain technology can enhance transparency in governance by providing tamper-proof records of transactions and decisions. One way to improve accountability is the use of technology and e-governance to decrease human interaction and possibly of corruptible transactions. There is one example I normally use. If you go to many airports across the world, you don't pay money to anybody. You use your card and you go easy. But I can tell you for sure, today, if you go to the international airport and you are well dressed and you reach there and you tell the man, say, "Oga, I beg no vex. I just forgot, I don't have any cash. Please let me go." He will allow you, without even collecting anything from you. You know, last week I went to Freetown. All the airports you pass through, you don't see anybody paying money and getting receipts. We need to up our game of using technology in Nigeria. Number 5, recognizing and rewarding integrity. Celebrating ethical behaviors through awards like the Integrity Icon Award sends a powerful message about the importance of integrity in public service. Finally, number 6, full implementation of the new National Values Charter. The Charter encapsulates the 7 core Nigerian promises and the 7 citizens' commitment to the Nigerian state. The 7 core promises made by the nation symbolize the commitment of elected leaders, outlining their responsibility to produce a vibrant and thriving democracy and a prosperous nation capable of meeting the most basic needs of the citizens. Simultaneously, the citizens' commitment to the Nigerian state encapsulate the obligations of each individual carries to contribute to the collective progress of the nation. The 7 promises of equality, democracy, entrepreneurship and employment, peace and security, inclusivity, freedom and justice, and meritocracy serve as the cornerstones of government accountability. They resonate with a vision where every citizen, regardless of background, can participate in a society that values and uplifts each individual. The 7 citizens' obligations of discipline, duty of care, tolerance and respect, leadership and patriotism, transparency, accountability and integrity, family values and environmental awareness, and dignity of labor, resilience and self-reliance represent the pillars upon which the citizens' active participation rests. It must be recognized that all over the world, transparency and accountability is ensured in public governance through 5 mechanisms. Mechanism number 1 is internal mechanism by ministries, departments, and agencies through financial circulars, procurement procedures, code of ethics, monitoring, and evaluation. The second mechanism is legislative oversight by the legislature. The third mechanism is independent institutions such as EFCC, ICPC, Consumer Protection Council, National Human Rights Commission. The fourth mechanism is the media, which is the body constitutionally mandated by the 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended to hold government to account. And the last and fifth mechanism is citizens groups, and civil society organizations through advocacy, citizen audit, and demands on leaders for accountability. The low level of probity in Nigeria today is because all these 5 mechanisms are not working at optimal level. Conclusion. In conclusion, building trust in governance processes is both an urgent necessity and a collective responsibility. The persistent trust deficit, fueled by corruption, lack of transparency, and weak institutional framework, demands deliberate and sustained action from all stakeholders. Ethical behaviors and positive norms form the cornerstone of trustworthy governance, fostering transparency, accountability, and inclusivity. As we celebrate individuals who embody integrity at this summit, let their example serve as a clarion call for all leaders and institutions to prioritize ethical conduct and adopt positive governance more. Rebuilding trust in governance is not just about institutional reforms. It is about restoring hope and confidence in leadership and institutions, and creating an environment where citizens feel represented and valued. Let us remain committed to strengthening institutions, promoting ethical leadership, and embedding the principles of justice, equity, and accountability in governance. Through our collective efforts, we can overcome trust deficits and establish a governance framework that truly reflects the aspiration of the people it serves. As we gather here today to celebrate icons of integrity, let us remember that building trust in governance is not solely the responsibility of public officials. It requires a collective effort. It requires a whole of society approach from all stakeholders, government, civil society, the private sector, and citizens. Together, we must promote ethical behaviors and foster positive norms that will serve as the bedrock of trust in governance processes. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, you must be the change you want to see in the world. Let us commit to being agents of change in our spheres of influence, upholding integrity and inspiring trust in governance. As we honor today's integrity icons, let us draw inspiration from their exemplary conduct and strive to replicate these values in our own lives and communities. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, together we can create a governance system that is transparent, accountable, and trusted by all. Thank you very much, and I wish
to come give us a goodwill message. Please continue to appreciate until he gets here. The police is your friend.
of you know him in person. When you talk of integrity, he's an epitome of integrity. He has been silently revolutionizing the police force, and you can see it from all areas. I am happy to be here. Many people who know me, yes, I was the immediate past Commissioner of Police of FCT. It was bordered on integrity, restoring the dignity of FCT. That was what brought crime low in FCT. So, we feel proud. I feel happy to represent the Inspector General of Police in this period, in this time of occasion. The narrative is changing. There's a lot of narrative changes. Yes, I can confidently say that. My worry is that he said, said governments from UK to Europe to, I listened to him very well, and media. I think in Nigeria, the police force as a government body, we have been trying all our best, ensuring that integrity is restored. The IG is #1 person that doesn't like corruption. You can see him anywhere you see him. He's an erudite scholar. And it cascades down, even to the last constable we are being trained now. And we are happy that this type of program is being showcased. And one of the winners I saw here is an inspector of police. Can't we clap for us? Yes, we have more. We have more than one that are doing very well, that merited to be recognized in this type of integrity, fitness examination. We have many. I believe next time, go more into the place, you will see many more. You need to be recognized. God bless all of you.
The ICPC has done for 3 years the National Summit on diminishing corruption in the public service, during which some public officers who have done well in terms of display of integrity, proven consistent display of integrity, we have identified them, recognized them, presented them to the world, and rewarded them. So the ICPC is in line with the Accountability Lab in the process of naming and faming. We want to assure Accountability Lab and all other progressives here that the ICPC is willing now and always to do whatever it takes to help build a Nigeria where our value system will be regenerated, where transparency, accountability, and integrity will be the watchword. We want to recognize and congratulate the integrity icons who will be recognized here today. We say this is just the beginning. It should not be the end. This is the beginning. The chairman of the ICPC has directed me to inform you that all eyes shall be on you. The entire world is watching you. His prayer for you is that you continue to progress. May the bar not drop. We wish you all the best. Thank you very much.